How's it going, everyone? Ray Talks Hoop here. Today we're going to be talking about the whole dramatic situation with James Harden and the Houston Rockets and try to figure out what exactly is going on here. Let's find out. So this entire fiasco dates back to a couple weeks ago when James Harden was caught partying in Vegas. Now, when James Harden was partying in Vegas, the Houston Rockets training camp was starting down in Houston. So people of the NBA world were pretty upset with James Harden because this guy's getting paid almost $40 million this year alone, yet he's not even showing up for training camp. James Harden was asked about this in an interview, and check out how that went.
He went to Atlanta and Vegas when training camp was starting.
I was just training.
What were you training for?
Started the NBA season.
How did going to Atlanta and Vegas help you there when the Rockets were starting training camp in Houston?
Just my personal trainers.
And then fast forward a week or so after that interview, James Harden was finally practicing with his teammates in Houston, and the reporter asked James Harden if his feelings have changed whatsoever from originally not wanting to be with the Rockets anymore to maybe wanting to stay with the Houston Rockets after having worked out with them for a week or so. Let's listen to how that conversation went.
James, now that you've been in camp for about a week, do you feel any better about this situation now than you did before you arrived?
Next question.
But just when you thought it was all over, it's actually getting even better. Let's fast forward to yesterday's game where James Harden really gives a hint that he is trying to get out of Houston.
Surprised that y'all never made a run at all. Made a run at all in this one.
We're just not good enough. We don't. Obviously, chemistry, talent-wise, just I love this city. I literally, I've done everything that I can. This situation is crazy. It's something that I don't think can be fixed. So, thanks.
So James Harden saying that the Rockets are not good enough, I don't believe that whatsoever. They have him, they have John Wall, they have Christian Wood, they have DeMarcus Cousins, they have Eric Gordon. The only thing they don't have is James Harden committing 100% to his team. Let's listen to what John Wall had to say about James Harden's effort.
Harden just openly criticized you, said you weren't as good as a team, and that he thinks the situation has no solution. Do you have something to say about it?
No comment.
Do you think the chemistry in this team can be fixed? What's the chemistry outside of the court at this point? And do you feel like not all the players on the team are on the same page? Is it just some miscommunication through the season, or is something more than that?
Like I said, it's going to be things where things get set off a little bit, with guys missing games or missing practice, doing certain things like that. But at the end of the day, a lot of guys here want to compete at a high level. And like I told everybody tonight, and I told the guys before, when the 1 through 15 guys all on the same page and they commit, they know their role, they know what they want to do, they know what they want to get out of this, that's the win, you all will be fine. But when you have certain guys in the mix that don't want to buy in all as one, it's going to be hard to do anything special, do anything good as a basketball team. I've been on those teams. In my 11 years been in the league, I've been on a team like that my first 5 years where it was all about me.
So, of course, John Wall did not say James Harden's name, and he spoke in very general terms. This is just John Wall being diplomatic and professional while maintaining a level of respect for James Harden and his teammates. To back up what John Wall is saying, let's take a look at what James Harden is averaging per game. So, before the new year, James Harden had 44 points against Portland, 34 points against Denver, and 33 points against the Kings. And ever since January started, the most James Harden has scored in a game has been 21 points. And that's not even including that James Harden is clearly overweight. Even the commentator poked fun of it last night.
Talk about some aesthetics. James Harden definitely had a pregame meal, averaging 17 points per game.
And just from watching the Rockets play my Lakers yesterday, it's hard to really explain it, but James Harden doesn't even look like he wants to be there. And I don't really think that's even up for debate. His own teammates know he doesn't want to be there. Everybody knows he doesn't want to be in Houston anymore. James Harden has basically said it himself. So this all leads us to one big question. Is James Harden going to get traded, yes or no? Now, obviously, I don't have the answer to that question, but I can only see one of two things happening. One, James Harden gets traded within the next week to 2 weeks, or two, James Harden finishes the season with the Rockets and then they decide what happens after that. So basically, I think he's either going to get traded very quickly or he's going to stay there the entire year. And about this, Woj tweeted out, James Harden's aware that the Rockets are continuing to discuss trade scenarios with teams, although no deal is imminent, sources tell ESPN. Houston's asking price remains steep, as you'd expect it would be for a player of Harden's caliber. So that pretty much makes sense. Obviously, the Rockets want to trade James Harden. They're paying him $40 million this year just for him to not even want to be there and not put out effort. But at the same time, for a player as good as James Harden, the Houston Rockets aren't going to trade him for a sack of potatoes. But that's pretty much the update with the whole James Harden situation as of late. I'll make sure to keep you guys in the loop on everything going on in the NBA. If you want to stay in the bubble knowing what's going on, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. We post daily NBA content right here on this channel. Thank you all so much for watching and subscribing. I will see you all next time. I am out of here.